Everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nikolaos Isaris, and I'm dealing with fire since January this year. So I'm relatively new to this, as a couple of you. Practically there is no presentation for this session. I thought this would be more of a panel discussion, so we haven't prepared really a presentation. But what I could share with you perhaps is where we are with the preparation of the work program with Horizon 2020, and give you some, let's say, of our insight on what fire could be in the coming years and where we should go with the help of Amplifier and all of the projects. So some perhaps administrative elements first. Horizon 2020 is still under negotiation, as you know, even the budget. So the budget has not been decided yet. So discussions are ongoing, and I think even today there will be a first trialogue meeting between the Parliament, the Council and the Commission on the real money that will be assigned to Horizon 2020, the new framework program. And
so that's the largest.
So that's the big, let's say, sum. You don't even want to know how much this money is. Maybe we could say how much money we have in our activities, but that would be sharing internal information for the time being, so we cannot really say that.
At what time, as this process goes forward, at what time do you can you stop holding your breath and start planning?
We are already planning, so we are in the process of trying to sketch out, let's say, what would be the activities for the next 2 years. So Horizon 2020 will have biannual work programs, so now we are preparing for 2014-2015. And to give you some idea about the planning, we are supposed to have a draft work program finalized internally by June. So the 21st of June, this work program should be released to member states for the first time, and should also be sent for what we call inter-service consultation, which is sending it to other services within the Commission in order to get their comments and remarks, and then get back and implement them. The idea is that the first work program should be ready by December. On the 11th of December, and you can mark this date on your calendars, there will be the first call for proposals under Horizon 2020. So this is the plan that we have. The 11th of December will be the first call under Horizon 2020.
So the first call, the deadline for submissions under the first call would be something like first quarter?
Yes, first quarter 2014, yes. Yes.
The work program will be ready only in December.
The work program is being drafted as we speak internally, but that's an internal exercise within our DG and within all research directorates general. So every directorate general which has a contribution to research and to Horizon 2020 is currently drafting a work program for the next 2 years, and so are we. So our internal deadline is somewhere in June to finalize this draft, and then it will be sent for inter-service consultation, and it will be sent also to the member states. And then we have more or less 5 to 6 months to finalize it and also prepare the first call for proposals, which should be in December.
So when Amplifier provides this first input, our first input, which is the fire rating, which we'll talk about later today, that coincides fairly nicely with your second stage of review of the work program.
Well, ideally we would like to see first drafts of the radar, like we are in the first drafting, let's say, stages of the work program as early as possible, because if you have and we hope that you do have ideas about the vision of where fire should go, and this is an opportunity also to discuss it today. We would like to know in advance, well in advance, so that we can integrate it already in the early drafts of the work program. But of course, still when we get the first version officially of the radar, there is still time to integrate some of the elements or the ideas into the second stage of the drafting before December. So maybe I can share also some of our thoughts of where we should go and see how this coincides with your views. There has been a lot of discussion since I joined at least the FIRE community. I've been hearing about federation and sustainability, etc. And we have had also quite a few internal discussions about what exactly federation and sustainability mean. And I'm sure that Scott will present later the draft radar, and we will have more opportunity to discuss when sustainability really makes sense and how can we really achieve it when we want it, when it is desirable to achieve, and how we can achieve further stages of federation, etc. But I would say that in our view there are 5 elements which are quite important, and we try to put in the drafting of this first work program for the first 2 years of Horizon 2020. And maybe I can briefly present them, and then we'll see how the discussion goes. The first one, I will not call it federation, but I will call it integration. We know that there are facilities around Europe, be it at national or regional or European level, and these facilities are somehow, let's say, autonomous or away from the FIRE community. And we would like to explore the possibility of identifying these facilities and probably trying to approach them to become part of the FIRE community. These could be, I don't know, test beds in universities. This could be, as I said, at national level or hopefully also at European level. A second, and in order to do that, of course, we need some support from projects. A second aspect, which is quite important for us, is to leverage existing operational research networks. For example, GEON, which is a very well-known research network, but it's mainly used for operational purposes, and try to leverage the connectivity aspect of GEON in order to use it also for pure research and innovation activities and not just for operational research activities. A third element that we would like to put into our work program for the next years is to develop the so-called experimentation as a service, where you dismantle actually all the conditions and the restrictions, let's say, of an experimental platform, and actually you can offer to the experimenters the possibility to access physically or virtually or in any other way, existing experimental facilities for their experiments to be run on them without necessarily having, let's say, geographical or physical or other access to it. And this would evolve perhaps later also into another concept, which is virtual experimentation, where actually you can simply simulate or emulate the experimenting conditions without even conducting an experiment. And then the last 2 aspects we would like to see, I mentioned already 3, the 4th and the 5th are more encouraging the use of the facilities for experiments. Of course, this is not new. The facilities are there for experimenters to use them. However, there is a slight twist that we would like to give. As you know, Horizon 2020 has this characteristic that it brings the innovation aspect into the research program. So, as you know, there is a balance which is both on research and innovation. We would like to see more of this innovation aspect in more mature experiments, experiments which are perhaps not in the very first stages of research, but they are more mature and they are closer to, dare I say, closer to the market or closer to innovative products and services that could be actually released for even commercial use. So we would like to approach new categories, new families of stakeholders. We'd like to see more innovative businesses, for example, using the facilities, SMEs, if possible, using the facilities, or more SMEs. And I know that Fusion will have also a presentation later on. We would like to see not only pure research experiments, but also more innovation and industry involvement and SME access to the facilities. These were the 5 aspects we are trying to draft into the work program for the first 2 years. And there is another final aspect maybe, which is more the international dimension of FIRE, and there we will have discussion with partners around the world, a couple of them more than others maybe, in order to see how we can not only exchange views and ideas, but also potentially researchers and hopefully also more concrete elements like tools and methodologies, and perhaps even we can develop things together. These are very roughly the aspects of the work program as we are drafting it right now. I wouldn't like to go into more details at this moment, but if you have questions, maybe we can discuss them, or maybe after all the speakers have spoken, maybe we can have a discussion. Yes, Jacques.
I have, 2 questions, maybe just clarifications, I would say. The first 2 of the issues to be addressed that you were listing, are local structures and the link with Jean. And maybe the third one, I'm not so much of a technical person, so I'm not so sure. They seem also, these are issues that are currently also being addressed in some of the projects of the IPP. For example, the identification of local regional structures, there is one project which is Infinity, which you know about, which has been doing this, and there is a portal already available, which is extending. But Infinity is going to end in 1 year from now. So, was it somewhat your idea, someone to take over the same idea and go on and extend this idea of identifying what's going on in Europe, and maybe going a little bit more into federating, quote unquote, the different infrastructures. And this is also something which is now being looked upon in a new project in FIPP Phase 2, which is called Site 5, which is going to start with 5 initial nodes and start looking at how they can interact with each other, how the experimenters can use different facilities, also in relation with, of course, the primary generated neighbors and what is going to be available either directly on the infrastructure or on the tab. And so there are already a number of ideas that are being worked out and that even are being implemented. So, have you thought already, from the FIRE side, of how you will take advantage of what is being done these days in the FIPP about this? So.
Okay. Maybe I can answer this first question, and then we'll see also maybe if Per would like to contribute to that. The Future Internet PPP is also part, as you know, of the directorate where FIRE belongs. So we try to achieve the most coordination of, for example, our work programs. So our work programs are not developed in isolation, but there is a kind of directorate effort where we try to not have overlaps, not have, let's say, conflicting or competing objectives or challenges, etc., that we want to achieve. So from that point of view, we will try, first of all, to see, I think I stepped on something which affects the sound. We will try to see, first of all, that our objectives and our initiatives complement the existing ones, be it already in FIRE or in the Future Internet PPP. and that there is also a sense of continuity as much as we can, and as much as this is allowed by the procedure of selecting actually projects, etc. But in the sense of drafting the work program, we try to complement each other and to have a kind of sense of continuity with existing either FIRE or future Internet PPP projects.
Actually, here, I think this is probably an opportunity. I mean, to take over from some of the work that is being done at the moment. Also because in terms of timeline, as I said, I mean, PPP is another year. So basically, the first Horizon 2025 projects are going to start when anything starts. Sci-fi is only 2 years, so there would be only a 1-year overlap. So I mean, I want to make myself clear. I think this is quite positive, but let's take advantage of that. I was not thinking of overlaps or conflicts. I was more thinking of, okay, there are things that are being done, so let's use them and build on that.
Yeah, we are definitely looking into that, and especially the future Internet PPP projects, we're trying to follow them closely, for example, sci-fi and others.
Maybe I should add to that this has been recognized by us as a very important topic, the relations with FIPPP, also other initiatives. And also from the side of FIPPP, and that's the reason that we invited also Mark Service will speak later on. FIPPP themselves have also been thinking about this new ecosystem of trials infrastructure. So there we could really meet and make some concrete cases on how it would look like, because that's really necessary to bring it to the ground and bring some concrete cases on how the innovations can be synergetic and used.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, sorry, I saw you raising your hands some time now.
The reason I was raising it, I'll give a very quick introduction as to who I am, as to why I'm sitting here. I know Mike is going to speak a little bit about some projects. I'm also involved in FITNAC, which is now one of the new projects which has been launched. Our specific focus area, from my point of view, is the manufacturing sector, because that's the big business here. I was actually featured at Fitness Cluster meeting yesterday. And there was a very interesting diagram that showed. So I was wondering if that diagram is going to be made more public, because it actually starts to map out where each of these disciplines or biases, where FIPP uses and so on. And it's quite an interesting overview of where it's going. Because you say there's an awful lot of overlap, and there's an awful lot of requirements for everyone to work together. And yet, of course, it's very difficult to sort of understand who's doing what. Certain things like smart sensors. I'm also involved with another project called Adventure, which is virtual factories. Of course, we need smart objects and models. When we talk about partnerships and different potentials of expansions, there's a lot of work going on there. So I think what would be interesting is to get this sort of mapping out as soon as possible, and then I think it makes it much more clear for everyone to sort of see where it sits.
This diagram you're talking about, was it shown by someone who is?
It was from the Commission from Aris. Arian was there, Christine was there, it's the first draft.
Actually, I may know which diagram you're talking about. Friday is the Future Internet PPP Day. I think there's a whole session devoted to the PPP. And if I'm not mistaken, the diagram you're talking about is an effort we are doing right now to indeed map all the initiatives in not just one, but various graphs, depending on the axis that we want to see, be it scale or stakeholders or deployment, etc. And indeed, it's a good way, it's a visual way to see where all our initiatives fall. So we have FIRE, we have the PPP, perhaps other PPPs, we have cloud, etc. And probably it was somebody from the Commission that showed it, but there are more than one actually under preparation. Any other questions?
I simply keep climbing to a higher level. trying to understand how we fit into the larger world. Is the world, with that diagram and that view, fits sort of the European economy of the next 10 years? How would you characterize the particular mountaintop you stand on in order to be able to see that?
First of all, I think the European economy is counted in 7-year time slots, not 10 years. So I can only speak about the next. I can only speak about the next 7 years. I don't know what will happen in years 8, 9, and 10.
They're behind us.
I think maybe you're putting the right dimension to it, because in the end we have to see also what are the finances behind the whole thing. So I think yes, it pretty much depends on what the financing and the funding mechanisms will be for the next 7 years, that we can also decide even the placement of the various initiatives in the map. Maybe not content-wise, but maybe size-wise, or what we really want to achieve. But unfortunately, this is something that we cannot really discuss now, so I cannot really say we will have so much money for the first call, or we will have so much money for the second call, or for international, etc. Because that would really give some more perspective to the discussion, I believe. But unfortunately, this is not the moment to share it.
Well, I think for most of us, it's getting a better sense of the objectives, the horizons that we want to set. Because we're not, unlike the case with the complex systems, the human brain, and the graphene people, we're not looking at 10 years and €1 billion. We're looking at trying to make groups of half a dozen institutions with common set of research objectives as effective as possible.
No, I agree. I think that FIRE is there, and FIRE will be there in the next 7 years. However, and excuse my, let's say, way of putting it, but maybe you can say that I'm new to the thing. But however, we have to be also aware of how we propose to go forward. So we should not be aiming for doing more of the same. We should not be aiming of doing things just for our own, let's say, research. We should see whether what we propose is really adding something, adding value to what people outside the community is doing. So these are the things that the people that hold the money are looking into, and then this is how they judge whether an initiative is successful or not. So,
okay, I have to
look
at the watch. So thank you very much. But we can still, of course, go on with the
I thought it would be a discussion.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.